On this episode of See Indonesia, we travel to the highlands of North Sumatra to explore the largest volcanic lake in the world, the mighty Lake Toba, where we'll devour some delicious Batak delicacies, snag ourselves some gorgeous ulos fabrics from a traditional weaving village, and take a scenic bike tour across the breezy hills of Samosir.
Come see the beauty, only on See Indonesia! Come see the beauty, only on See Indonesia!
Indonesia is a place unlike any other. It is a country of remarkable natural beauty, and at the same time, one of the most volatile places in the entire world. And in North Sumatra, 900 meters above sea level, lies a place which embodies both the beauty and terror of Indonesia's natural landscape.
This is no ocean. It is in fact a lake. But not just any lake. The largest lake in Indonesia and the largest volcanic lake in the entire world. Lake Toba. Now, believe it or not, this place used to be the site of a major catastrophe 70,000 years ago that wiped out nearly all of human life. But now, it is one of the most beautiful places in the entire world. But seeing it is only half the adventure. So, get ready to be purified in the waters of Lake Toba.
Ah yes, Lake Toba, one of Indonesia's natural wonders. What was once the site of a cataclysmic event that caused a 10-year volcanic winter is now one of the hottest tourist destinations in the country, attracting more than 500,000 tourists every year. Oh, and did I mention this lake is big? Yeah, Lake Toba is absolutely massive. At more than 1,000 square kilometers, Lake Toba easily claims the spot as the largest lake in Southeast Asia. And not only that, the lake sits at an elevation of about 900 meters above sea level, which results in some cool and refreshing air all around. Lake Toba's sheer size and depth has made it an ideal venue for international water sport events. But I'm leaving all that high-octane stuff to the pros. On my first day here, I'm taking it nice and slow, taking in the cool mountain breeze via kayak. Lake Toba is a freshwater lake, and it's deep, like really deep, over 500 meters in fact. So seeing as I'm not looking forward to drowning, a life vest is an absolute must on this adventure. And what an adventure it is!
So I know that you can go kayaking in the ocean. I've done that multiple times myself, but honestly, kayaking in a lake is way, way better. First of all, the waters are so calm. Second of all, it's not salt water, so it's not, it doesn't get all sticky and stuff. But third of all, the most important thing I think for me is the views. I mean, come on. You're not seeing that in the ocean. Look at those rolling hills touching the sky. Ain't nothing like it.
All that kayaking has gotten me working up an appetite, which gives me a great excuse to explore something equally as important here in this region. And that is the culture of the Batak people. The Batak people are one of the most unique ethnic groups in Indonesia, a notable minority with an otherwise outsized influence in modern-day Indonesia. The Batak people are believed to have originated from North Sumatra, specifically here in the island that lies in the middle of Lake Toba, Samosir Island. And that's where I'll be heading to dive deeper into this fascinating culture. I always say that the best way to get to know a culture is through their cooking. So that's exactly what I'm gonna do.
So this is naniura. It's a very traditional Batak dish, which is basically, it's raw fish, raw freshwater fish from the Lake Toba right over there. And as you can see, it's absolutely smothered by spices. And so this fish isn't cooked. It's sort of like a ceviche in a way that it's fermented with spices and limes for at least a day, and then you eat it raw. So, you know, once again, I am eating raw fish for the camera. So, gotta dig in. There we go. Got a nice chunk of naniura. So they actually used to serve this stuff to the Batak king. So this is royal food. This is some royalty stuff. It's not as, you know, exclusive today as it was back in the olden days, but it's still an honor to be able to taste such a historic dish. Bon appetit. Wow, that was a lot better than I expected it to be. If I didn't tell you it was raw fish, you probably wouldn't be able to tell. The spices really take it up to the next level. It's a good kick, it's acidic, it's peppery, and the fish itself, it's tender because of the fermentation process. So 100% I recommend this.
Just when I thought my culinary journey was done, I was served yet another plate of scrumptious looking Batak cuisine.
Alright, well, we're going full Batak tonight because we're getting even more specialty Batak. Okay, we get more. I wasn't done with that one, but I assume this is the final one. But yeah, we're going full Batak tonight. We got the naniura, and I presume this is ayam pinadar, and it's much more familiar. I guess it's chicken that's baked, I think, with all the usual Batak spices. And look at this huge chicken. And to top it all off, this is, if I'm not mistaken, this is tuak. So it's a traditional Batakese liquor. These types of drinks, they are like served in a lot of different Batak traditional ceremonies, and people here just love it. My God, that's the stuff right there. Yeah, you can tell this one was baking in there for a while. This is some good stuff. The meat is fall off the bone juicy, and those spices, the char also, if you can see right there. This is great. If nobody stopped me, I might eat all this by myself. But I will try to hold myself.
Just by eating the food of the Batak people, you get a little glimpse of the kind of people they are. And based on the amount of spices in their meats, as well as their love for liquor, you'd figure they're a tough and hardy bunch who love to have fun, kind of like the Vikings of Indonesia. And if that's the case, something tells me this is gonna be one fun trip. So, don't go anywhere.
Come to the beauty, only on See Indonesia! Come to the beauty, only on See Indonesia!
Lake Toba is nothing short of magical. But what is equally as awe-inspiring are the many hills that surround it. The Sumatran highlands don't feel like any part of Indonesia I've been to, and I think part of that may be the weather. Up here, nearly 1,000 meters above sea level, saying that it gets cold is an understatement. But people adapt, communities make do, and over time, man's compromise with his natural surroundings develops into culture.
Here in Lake Toba, where the hills touch the clouds, it can get a little bit chilly. That's why one of the main aspects of Batak culture is the ulos, which is a traditional type of woven fabric that is used from everything from funerals to weddings. And right now we're heading to a traditional Batak village that is full of these traditional weavers, and from the sound of it, looks like they're expecting me.
This is the Hutaraja weaving village in Samosir, one of the few traditional Batak villages that specialize in the making of ulos. Ulos is an irreplaceable part of Batak culture, something that has transcended from being a simple article of clothing into a fabric that binds Batak families together from generation to generation. The Hutaraja village has been around for hundreds of years, but only recently in 2020 did it undergo a revitalization courtesy of the Ministry of Public Works and Housing, in an effort to preserve the cultural heritage of the Batak people in Toba, and of course to bolster tourism. And from where I'm standing, they sure make you feel welcome here. The revitalization has given the village a new shine, but some of the older parts of the village feel like they've got a lot of stories to tell. And so, I went for a little walk with Pa Anton, the village elder, to learn more.
Baik Pak, jadi Kampung Hutaraja ini udah dari kapan berdirinya Pak? Dari tahun berapa?
Ini sesudah berdirinya kampung ini sudah lebih dari 400 kakek bom tadi.
400?
400-an lebih.
400 lebih tahun?
Iya.
Dan bentuk rumah-rumahnya ini sama seperti yang pas 400 tahun yang lalu juga?
Ada juga dulu ini semacam rumah panggung kayak yang depan situ. Tapi ini sesudahnya diturun Jokowi harus diseragamkan ini. Jadi rumah adat semua ini. Ini lah.
Yang ninggalin rumah-rumahnya siapa saja Pak?
Itu keturunan yang punya rumah itu juga. Termasuk ini keturunan dari sini semua itu.
Kalau rumah yang tertua yang mana Pak?
Ini yang
rumah
tertua
tertua?
ini. Iya.
Punyanya siapa Pak?
Itulah namanya Opu Botor itu.
Puput.
Iya, Opu Botor. Itulah nenek moyang kami. Ya, dari sinilah asal-usul kami dulu.
These types of traditional houses are known as rumah bolon, and they are rife with symbolism. There are commonly 3 tiers in each house: bottom, middle, and top. The middle tier of the house are designated living quarters. There are no individual rooms within the house, signifying the importance of togetherness in Batak culture. The house also commonly had a fireplace in the middle, which kept the inhabitants warm during the cold mountain weather. Staying warm is also the reason why the ulos fabric is so important for the Batak people. Seeing that I was in the village of weavers, it makes sense that if I wanted to learn more about the ulos, I'd have to talk with one of the weavers themselves. And so, I sat down with one of the more senior weavers, Opung Gom-Gom.
Kalau Ibu sendiri ada berapa motif yang bisa Ibu tenun?
Oh, kalau soal motif dari dulu nggak terhitung lagi.
Nggak terhitung?
Iya, banyaknya. Karena saya sekarang umur 73. 73 kan, dari umur 14 tahun, udah macam beragam lah kalau motif-motif ulus yang sudah kita pelajari, yang sudah kita tenun gitu Pak. Jadi kalau misalnya ulus ini, jangan karena salah ada pesta dipakai, harus ada tujuannya. Siapa yang pakai ulus bolang, siapa yang pakai ulus yang seperti ini, dan nggak asal-asal dipakai gitu.
Ulos is used in various different traditional ceremonies, from weddings to funerals, and there's a lot of rules in regards to what kind of ulos to wear and who gets to wear it.
Kalau orang meninggal itu, anaknya yang paling tua pakai ulus, orang meninggal, anak perempuan yang paling tua dari bapak yang meninggal itu pakai juga hoba-hoba, namanya bahasa Bataknya, hoba-hoba, supaya tahu orang, oh itu anak perempuan yang pertama dari bapak yang meninggal. Tapi kalau mamaknya yang meninggal, anak yang paling bungsu lah pakai ulus tadi. Gitu.
Banyak aturannya.
Banyak aturannya.
The weaving itself is a labor-intensive process that demands both patience and attention to detail. Girls in the village begin their training in weaving from an early age and is expected to continue to practice it as they get older.
Jadi kalau ini ya Bak, ini harus satu-satu diselang-seling ini. Makanya kita harus hati-hati. Nah, ini satu di atas kan, ini yang satu di bawah harus masuk ke sini. Nah, selang-selingnya ini lagi satu lagi, baru masuk satu lagi. Jadi kalau kita modal yang diutamakan itu kesabaran. Nggak boleh kita emosi.
Kalau emosi salah.
Kalau emosi salah.
Harus teliti banget ya Bu.
Iya. Nggak bisa kita lepas dari sini. Karena apa? Karena ini yang paling bisa kita andalkan untuk cari makan untuk anak sekolah. Jadi kalau mengerjain ini rumit sekali.
Opung Gom Gom was a joy to talk to, but she's got a lot of weaving to do. So, after our quick chat, I left her to her work and went on my way. After snagging a couple of Opung Gom Gom's fine ulos handiwork for myself, of course. So, at this point, we've ate the food and we've worn the fabrics, but there's still a lot of history to uncover. I know that these rolling hills in Samosir are hiding some hidden gems that tell the story of the Batak people, and I want to see it all. I could just drive to each one of them, but I figured 2 wheels would be enough for me.
Come to the beauty, only on See Indonesia! Come to the beauty, only on See Indonesia!
It is said that Si Raja Batak, the first king and father to all Batak people, came down from the heavens onto the peak of a hill in Samosir, called Pusuk Buhit. Legends believe this to be the origins of the Batak. Si Raja Batak eventually had children and grandchildren who became the founders of the hundreds of Batak clans that still exist to this day.
You know, as majestic as Lake Toba is, what's equally as majestic, in my opinion, are these hills that surround it. I mean, come on. They look like they're ripped straight out of a fairy tale. And, you know, they're not just pretty to look at, because, after all, this is the birthplace of Batak culture. And so, across these hills are various different historical sites that tell the story of the Batak people. And so I figured, such a nice day out, so the best way to experience that history is with a bike ride. Let's go.
Normally, I'm not one for cycling, but the terrain here makes for a breezy and enjoyable bike ride. The high surface elevation makes it so that your body stays nice and cool. And provided you plan your route right, you won't need to exert too much energy either, since you'll be going downhill most of the time. And best of all, nothing can beat these hillside views. The scenery is so majestic that you might need to remind yourself to keep your eyes on the road. I know I did. But back on track. We're not just riding around aimlessly. Today, we've got some places to visit.
First stop on our historical tour, Sopoguru Tatiabulan. So, quick history lesson. Every single Batak clan that exists right now, of which there are more than 500, descended from one man, Si Raja Batak, which translates roughly to the Batak King. And now the Batak King had 2 kids. One of them was Tatiabulan. And in here, you'll find statues that is paying homage to Tatiabulan, Si Raja Batak, as well as their many, many children.
Sopo Guru Tatiabulan is not exactly a historical site, but it is a cultural one, which tells you a little bit about Batak cultures and its values. Built in 1995, the site showcases various statues, focusing primarily on Guru Tatiabulan, the firstborn son of the Batak king. Many people who visit this site are Batak themselves and would place offerings in front of the statues. For those who aren't on a religious excursion, you're still in for a treat, as the site is situated on a hill flanked by two gorgeous valleys, namely the Sagala and Limbong valleys. Our next location is just down the hill. Literally, we can even spot it from up the hill, which means more smooth downhill riding for me.
Now we've arrived at our next destination, Batu Hobon. Now, this place has a lot to do with the grandson, one of the grandsons of Si Raja Batak, the great Batak king, and that is Sariburaja. Now, the legend goes that Sariburaja was hunted down by his family because of an incestuous relationship he had with his sister. And so, before he ran away, he took all the treasures and artifacts from his grandfather, Si Raja Batak, and put them all in that giant rock, which is why it's called Batu Hobon. Hobon means chest in Bataknese. So he put them all in that chest, and the legend goes that if one were to open that chest, it would spell catastrophe for the entire world. Now the Dutch actually tried to do that many years back, and obviously, thankfully, they failed. So it stands to this day as a relic of a very fascinating part of Batak history.
Sariburaja was the son of Guru Tatiabulan, and yes, according to legends, he did have an incestuous relationship with his sister, Siboru Pareme. The relationship resulted in Siboru Pareme becoming pregnant, and both her and Sariburaja being banished to the woods. This strong stance against marrying one's own kin is still upheld by Batak clans to this day, where there exist several different forbidden couplings relating to the relationship between clans, such as marriage between sibling-in-laws and first cousins, just to name a few. Okay, we're heading towards the final spot of the day. And remember what I said about this bike ride being a breeze? Well, I mean it is, but that doesn't mean you won't work up a sweat. And I'm pretty darn sweaty at this point. Thankfully, this final spot has just the thing I need to get refreshed.
And now this is probably the last stop on our adventure, Aiksikutudai. So this place is basically a sacred fountain. There's actually 7 here, and legend says that each of them have a completely different taste, and that drinking it or even just bathing in it gives you a lot of health benefits and maybe even grant some wishes. Well, after a long day of biking, fresh spring water is all that I wished for.
As I wash the sweat away from my face, the first adventure into mighty Lake Toba and the scenic hills of Samosir comes to a close. We've seen a lot of what the homeland of the Batak people have to offer, from the food, to the fabrics, and the endlessly awe-inspiring sights of the highlands. But I know that Lake Toba still has a lot in store for us, so stay tuned for our next grand adventure.